really get how frustrating it is trying to apply the ever so popular 50-30-20 budget rule, but you're still having a hard time sticking to your budgets. So let me tell you the secret, because having overcome impulsive buying behaviors and now coaching working professionals to stick to sustainable money habits, here are 3 reasons why it may be time for you to ditch the 50-30-20 budget rule and what you can do instead. What's up guys, it's Nick. As you know, I'm a recovered shopaholic, now a money mindset coach, empowering working professionals to fund their dreams into reality. So this topic came about because during a coaching call with one of my clients, she realized that budget percentages do not work in the long run. As you guys know, I've saved over $500,000 pesos, and the truth is, I never followed strict budget percentages on a monthly basis. So if you guys haven't Googled or seen articles about this famous budget rule, let me tell you what it is. It says that you allocate your income 50% for your needs, 30% for your wants, and 20% for your savings or paying off debts. The thing is, I've tried this and so did my clients, and that's why they come to me, because they're like, how come people say that it should work but it doesn't work for me? So in this video, I will tell you why I don't teach this budgeting percentage method to my clients and how I help them personalize their financial system instead based on their unique needs and goals and situation. So if you're all about that, then make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because I do have a new video every single week. Now let's get into why it's time to ditch this budgeting rule. First reason why this budget rule may not work for you is because you have vague priorities. If you have unclear or unstable priorities, it would be difficult for you to stick to your budgets, whatever percentages they may be. So for instance, when I coach my clients, we have to be really clear on what are your priorities, what are the things that you want to fast track in your life. For example, when I coach my clients, we become very, very clear on what are the priorities that would allow you to fast track your dreams in your life right now, so that you feel like budgeting is just means for you to make your dreams happen. For instance, maybe paying off your debts, making sure that you're able to cover all your bills for living expenses, or say you're planning to quit your job and do your business full time. For instance, you want to balance your breadwinner duties while also funding your dream wedding or preparing for your married life. All of these things are different life stages, and we can't just copy paste the same budget percentages for one person who's paying off her debts and then another person who's trying to build business capital to start her business. Those are 2 completely different priorities and life stages that we need to take note of. Bottom line is, our priorities, money goals, and life stages vary person to person, and that means that we need to personalize. For instance, when I was still in my corporate job and I just wanted to make sure I save up for an emergency fund because I was living on my own and I wanted to be self-sufficient, then I was very conservative with my saving targets, because my living expenses was really like skyrocket high, because especially then when I was just building up my income in my corporate job. So I can't reach a 30% saving mark because my living expenses are so high. So for some of my clients who are, let's say, paying off their condo, or those who are living on their own, their living expenses may eat up at least 70%, especially for those who are breadwinners as well. So sometimes we might feel bad that, oh my God, I'm exceeding my 50% mark, or whatever mark it is with the percentages. You feel bad about it, so you don't stick to it and you just give up on budgeting entirely, and that's the problem that we may get into. Another example is when I decided that I wanted to do my business full time, that I wanted to have my freedom fund that I always talk about, which is 3 to 6 months of my ideal monthly income when I have my business full time. So when I was in my corporate job, I wanted to make sure that my income then served as business capital for doing my business full time. So my savings percentage, I think, became like 50% or like more than 30%, because I wanted to fast track that dream, because it was my priority. It was my dream to make sure that by X date, I get to really do my coaching business full time, and this is where I am today, right? But let's say, what if I spread out my priorities, right? Like, oh, I want to make sure I invest in a property while I do my business full time, while I also, have my dream wedding. All of those things will spread my income too thin, and it would also delay all of those things, because the result of that is my income would be spread too thin, or I would deprive myself in the current moment, and I don't get to enjoy my income. So what I teach my clients is to be very clear. What do you want to achieve 6 months to 1 year from now? Like, what is the first step that would allow you? So let's say, for instance, I want to make sure I am debt free. And when I am debt free, I get to travel to that place I've always wanted. And then after that, I get to invest in the property so I can start the business, so that she can finally have her own place and have a business at the same time. All the things that we want, we can have all of them. Okay? That's the thing. We can have all of the things we ever want, but not all at the same time. We go through different life stages. Each stage requires having clear priorities so that you can fast track that goal, that dream in your life. And as a result, the budget percentages really change. It changes because your life stages vary. So what I coach my clients on is to customize their budgets based on their life goals. How do we do this? First, we get really, really clear on what do you truly want. What do you truly want out of your life? Not expectations of your parents, not what your colleagues are doing, not what you see on social media, what successful looks like. Because that's the thing, we don't take our time to ask ourselves, what do we want? Because I remember I had a client when we were in this process, and when I was asking her about it and asking her, like, what do you want? And then she teared up because she's like, nobody really asked me that. Nobody asked me, ano ba talaga gusto ko sa buhay ko? Because all her life, she's been trying to please every single thing that her family wants for her, or what her colleagues are doing. And so she just followed that path. But if you take the time to pause and think about, what are the priorities that I want? And first off, that starts with, how do I prioritize myself? How do I prioritize myself and my needs? And how can my budgets take me there? And we can copy paste just the same Excel formula and expect it to apply to us when we're not even clear yet on what our priorities are. Second reason why this budgeting rule is not working for you is because you cannot solve a deep inner wound with an external solution. We got deep real quick, but this is why I love talking about the importance of your money mindset. We think that, oh my gosh, I'm so annoyed, I can't stick to my budgets. I'm so annoyed that I can't stick to a savings target consistently. I really hate it that I have anxiety just looking at my expenses. I get so burdened when I see that my bank account is decreasing, and I feel like I'm gonna be broke forever, just like my parents, or I will be irresponsible, just like what my parents keep telling me, that I'm just wasting my money and I'm not being responsible. Like, those are the things that we are subconsciously telling ourselves. On the surface level, we're like, oh, let me just Google the budgeting rule, the percentage budgeting hacks that will finally work for me. Yet you keep trying them and they're not working, and you look at the budgeting app that has the highest rating on App Store or whatever it is. You keep trying all these external solutions, but you cannot use external solutions to solve an inner problem. So if you're in the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, or if you're in the cycle of constantly overgiving to others and having resentment towards them, if you're in the cycle of feeling anxious about looking your money and your expenses, if you're in the cycle of constantly doubting every decision that you make regarding your money, there is an underlying, deeper problem that you are scared to confront. I hate to break it to you, but it won't be solved through formulas in Excel, or that budgeting app you just downloaded on your phone, or that popular financial book that you keep taking notes from in order to apply the financial tips. And that's the thing, like, I know you're trying. You're really trying to do better. You're really trying to feel more in control of your finances. And you're really, really frustrated at yourself right now because sabi ni Google, sundan ko na itong budgeting rule na to, and my life will have balance, and I get to enjoy, and I get to stick to my savings. But how come it's not working? This is the reason why. There is a deeper inner wound that you are not seeing, and that cannot be solved with just budget percentages, okay? Let me give an example with one of my clients who's been working for years and years in her corporate career, and she keeps thinking to herself like, how come I don't feel like it's enough? How come I've been working really, really hard and I don't see that I'm really enjoying the money that I have? How come I don't feel excited when spending? How come I always feel guilty? How come I feel like I always have to overgive to my family? And it's because she grew up that she saw her parents sacrifice their income and give it to their parents and only enjoy later. And so that's the same trait that she passed on when she started earning her own income, is that kailangan ibigay ko lahat ng sweldo ko. Kailangan lakihan ko pa yung contribution ko sa bahay. Kasi yun yung nakita ko eh. But what happened? You're working years and years, yet you don't see your dreams happening. You've forgotten about the big dreams that you have. Like for her, she forgotten about, oh yeah, I always wanted to start my dream business. Oh yeah, like I plan to get married soon, but I don't really see that happening because all of my income is just going nowhere. Or for some of my clients, their parents were a great example of how money should be handled. They see money being blown off. They see parents who are one-day millionaires, tapos tumanda sila ng walang savings. And so that got passed on to them. That like, oh, yeah, money is just supposed to be spent and spent and spent. But then now they're anxious of like, oh my gosh, I've been making money, earning money, but where is it going? How come I don't see it really helping build the dream life that I've always wanted? These are the super deep underlying problems that are subconsciously dictating how we budget, how we should save, how we handle our money. You know, that's why I really love helping my clients overcome their self-doubts, overcome their wounds from the past on how they grew up, the subconscious toxic thoughts that they grew up with, so that they break the cycle for good. So here's the thing that you can take away from this, is that if your brain is filled with toxic thought patterns and limiting beliefs about money, just like the things I mentioned earlier, then you won't have clear mental space to apply the financial tips, the budgeting methods that will actually work for you. Because think about it. If you keep thinking that my dreams are impossible, I'm gonna end up just like my parents who were in debt or who didn't have savings or who didn't know anything about money, do you think you're gonna be excited about saving? Do you think you're gonna be excited about creating a personalized financial system for yourself? No, because you're gonna be too demotivated, you're gonna be too anxious, you're gonna be too burdened to even think about or look at the numbers. That's the reality that I've seen so many times. That's why when my clients come to me, they're like, I've tried all the apps, I've tried all the books, I've tried all the videos that I keep watching, but none of them stick. It's because that's an external solution. That's an external solution, but how you can break the cycle for the long run is if you look inward and face and confront and solve the deeper inner wound that has been constantly stopping you from funding your dreams. By the way, if you want to learn more about how I coach my clients through this, you can check the link in my description box below to learn more about my one-on-one coaching program, which is called Fund Your Freedom. And I love holding space for them to really confront these financial fears, their doubts in themselves that has been preventing them to save consistently, to look at numbers, to be excited about saving, to be excited that they could actually use money as a tool to fund their dreams. That's why I have a dedicated session about unlearning limiting beliefs, because I swear once all of those mindset blocks, the toxic thoughts about money are released, they find that doing their finances get to be so simple, get to be so exciting, get to be something so effortless. Third reason why budgeting percentages may not be working for you is because you restrict yourself too much. I look back at the days when I was like, I need to make sure that my wants are X percentage, I need to make sure that my savings are X percentages, and whenever I exceed just a little bit, or if I don't get to meet that percentage, I feel guilty, I feel bad about it, I'm too hard on myself. And when you have all those feelings, do you think you're gonna be motivated to do it again? Do you think you're gonna want to look at all the numbers again and do better? Or you're gonna be like, F this, you know, don't wanna do this. It's just making me feel terrible. Why don't I just like buy something to make me feel good at the moment? It becomes this toxic cycle that when you feel bad about yourself, when you feel frustrated, when you feel like all of your peers are doing well in life, you see them on social media and you feel so left behind because you haven't even done one thing that you feel so proud of yourself about, or feel accomplished, or feel like you're actually taking a step towards your dreams, right? It gets really, really deep really fast. And this happens on a subconscious level that I keep talking about. And so what you're conscious about is that I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so confused with all this financial stuff, let me just do nothing. I remember like when my clients come to me, they're like, yeah, I like track my expenses, and you know, I have like all these apps where I take note of my expenses, but like instead of me feeling excited that I'm doing this, it's like a chore. It's like a chore that I just need to track everything, and then what? There's no action step. That's why all these external solutions like budgeting rules and budgeting percentages, they only work if you have your mindset that is aligned to this system. So that's why, like, personally, when I coach my clients, we literally dedicate like 4 weeks together to really dig into what are those limiting beliefs and what are those financial fears that have been constantly on replay in your head. That's why you just feel like budgeting is such a chore, or why you feel guilty when you overspend, or why you feel like it's selfish to prioritize your wants, to prioritize your dreams that have been overdue. These are the things that are subconsciously running our money decisions and our actions around money. That's why I'm never so rigid about these percentages, because isn't it a sad way to live that the income that you receive, all you think about is like, I need to make sure that X amount goes to all of my bills, and that makes me a responsible adult. I thought that was that, by the way. What if you could actually have a balance of like being fully responsible of handling your money to cover the living expenses that you need to cover in your life, but also make sure that you are saving for your future goals, for your future life goals that are aligned to your dreams that you have already been putting aside for too long. That's why when I talk about like when you're constantly restricting yourself and like feeling that I have to deprive myself in order to save a huge amount and all of that, it's really not sustainable, because one way or another you're gonna relapse and you're gonna be like, F this, I'm just gonna buy what I want because I've been depriving myself for too long. And that's why these budget percentages can really be detrimental if you are too hard on yourself, if you are constantly overcritical of yourself. I realize that it's like when you're overcritical of yourself, when you are constantly doubting yourself, when you're always second guessing every single thing that you do, that also translates to how you handle your money. So how I help my clients solve this is to really focus on a crystal clear why behind saving. I love what my client shared with me, like having gone through the program is like, she's read all the books. She even enrolled in courses to learn more about finances. She even downloaded all the apps, but all of those failed because she realized that when she enrolled in my program was that it's not about the how. It's not about the constantly like how to budget, how to save, how to invest, da 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 da. It's more of the why. It's understanding what is your why behind spending, the why behind saving. And I love that she brought this up, because this is why I love what I do. It's because we're so fixated on the how that we don't even know why. What's the purpose? Why do I wake up every day? Why am I earning? What am I earning for? What's the purpose of working for a living? When we are so crystal clear on our why, saving becomes effortless. Saving becomes exciting. Saving becomes motivating. So you're like, okay, Nick, my why behind saving is I just need to save for the future, right? To be prepared for emergencies and all of that. That's a given. That's like a copy-paste answer for everyone. Just like how we can copy-paste Excel formulas to budget. And it doesn't work that way. By the way, if you want to learn more about this, I actually just uploaded my free training on the 3 steps to your financial freedom with 1 income stream. So you can check it out in the link below. I have limited access to it because it could expire in the future. So make sure that you register below and I will email you the access to that video training so that you can learn more about how you can create your version of financial freedom And if you'd like to learn more about how I was able to overcome impulsive buying for good now as a recovered shopaholic, you can check out this video right here, and there's a lot of actionable tips that you can start applying in your life and look more inward on how you can master your money mindset. So I will see you there.